Welcome to the English Studio.
Welcome to Indie Studio Podcast. My name's Britt, and for today's episode, we have some returning guests actually, but somebody new and exciting. Please welcome Harley Meszaros and Max and Aaron.
Hello.
You're back again.
We're back.
Good to be back.
Just the regulars at this point.
So how about we start with an introduction for anyone who doesn't know you yet?
So my name's Harley Meszaros. These guys are in my band. Max and I met. We studied at JMC just down the road, and then kind of played in bands together while studying there, and then kind of created our own project.
It's our project. Your project, brother. Come on. How'd you meet Aaron?
I met Aaron through you because you know so many talented musicians.
Max is kind of like the band matchmaker of Brisbane, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's probably true, hey?
Yeah. Just hooks everyone up.
It's true. You met, how did you meet Tom? Tom, because we have other band members as well. But
There's also Tom plays bass, which I met through one of my other bands that I was in while studying at JMC called Evangie back in the day, and he's just a great boy. So he's good to have in the band. And then Ben, we also met at JMC, and yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
Hell yeah, dude.
So basically, JMC.
Basically,
the,
JMC.
the catalyst
The
for
sort of-
everything, and just
fine point
just
of it.
know Max. He's the networking guy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Me and Harley actually also are both from Harvey Bay.
Yeah.
That's a fun bit of trivia
Ah.
for all you Mazzaronators out there.
But did you guys meet here?
Yeah.
Ah.
So we
You
went to
guys didn't know
different
each
schools
other,
and
eh?
everything, and then we met when we were studying here.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's
That's cool.
mental.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's why you listen to
New
the
info,
podcast.
bro. New law.
Get the scoop.
So did you guys move from Harvey Bay specifically to like come to JMC and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I didn't even really like, I wasn't like, I'm going to go to JMC. It was just like the first one that came
Oh
up.
yeah. Didn't even do your research.
Which, you know what? Checks out, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like moving to Brisbane for study. And you would have moved a year before me?
I think so. I think I was down the start of 2018 because I was doing like solo covers gigs and everything up in Harvey Bay. Kind of built a small name for myself up there, and then I was like, there's not really anywhere to go up there because it's such a small town. I was like, Brisbane seems to be the place to go.
Dude, the funniest thing ever is there's like a Harvey Bay newspaper article
God, don't bring it
Oh.
up.
that Harley's in, and it says something like Harvey Bay's answer to Ed Sheeran. Yeah.
Wow.
It's incredibly
Wow.
crazy.
We bring it up every time we want
A
to
bit of a local
sort of
celebrity.
check Harley.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Everyone knows him.
We'll go back one day, play a gig there. The sea
Not in your life.
I'm not driving up.
It's too far for Aaron.
Yeah, dude.
I was kind of like having a flick through your like social media, your Insta, your Facebook, your website and everything. And you play a good handful of gigs fairly regularly. I was wondering how you go about securing those sort of opportunities. Like, how did you start out with the current band and get yourself established in those venues?
Like, we originally had two other members on bass and drums through uni because the band started as like a uni project, and then
Shut up, man.
You guys okay?
Dude, I just started laughing. I couldn't stop.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can,
Continue.
please continue, Harley.
Don't want to share with the class?
Oh, it's just fucking. We give Harley shit all the time because we don't play that many gigs. He plays a lot of like solo acoustic gigs,
Right.
but like the band gigs, we're like, I think we can probably count on like two hands
Right.
the number of gigs we've ever done.
Well, I mean, it is Harley Meszaros, so
Yeah. He's not.
as long as he's there, like, you're
Yeah,
getting what you're paying for,
absolutely.
right?
Exactly,
Why are you
bro.
laughing, bro? What are you talking about?
Ideally, every gig would just be Harley. Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
we're
like,
being rude. Continue.
Obviously working on getting more and more gigs to please Aaron. But most of the time it's just like texting friends in other bands in the industry, like in Brisbane and such, or like emailing venues. But yeah.
That's like a kind of a good point to bring up because, like, there is a ton of bands who play in Brisbane. We're a very fortunate city to have such a vibrant local music scene. But you could make the argument that that might make things harder because you're competing with a lot of other musicians for gig opportunities. Do you feel that? Do you feel that pressure? Or do you think that the benefit of being able to network and share those opportunities by having those connections outweighs that pressure?
I say there's a little bit of pressure from it. Obviously, like venues not having enough dates in advance, kind of thing. Depending on how far in advance they book, like it's kind of like your fault if you leave it too late. But it's also there's a nice side to it where like if a friend's band can't make their gig, they might ask you like, "Oh, can you fill in last minute?" And, like we'd be happy to do. Like we've done that before. And yeah.
So I guess
There's
it's
like
like
positives and
a
negatives.
glass half full, glass half empty perspective kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, you kind of had a cool opportunity recently. You got to play Blues Fest. I'm kind of keen to hear about how that came about.
Max kept bugging me is like do like every different competition you can, and so I found the Blues Fest comp. I like filled out the form and all that, and I was like, oh, there's a $50 entry fee. I was like, it's a bit steep, surely.
Yeah.
And then we actually got like approved and included in the competition. I was like, that's the best $50 I've ever spent.
Yeah.
That's sick. And then we played. There was the semi-finals and the finals down in Byron at the Beach Hotel, which was awesome. First time for us playing in Byron. And they went really well. It was a great crowd there and lots of amazing acts that we were playing with. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we still got to play the busking stage at Blues Fest, which was amazing on the Sunday, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah, it was a
Did
really
you get a
good
good
time.
turnout?
Surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was probably a couple hundred people. It was kind of because you were like across from the merch tent, and then there was like the other two main stages, so people kind of had to walk through the area.
Yeah.
So that if like, oh, this is cool, I'll stop and watch for a little bit.
It was
That's
cool because like even though we're like little band, relatively, you know, it was like you could see you building a crowd,
Yeah,
which is dope. And they were randomly like people we knew there as well.
Oh.
Like they just happened to be
Like
at Blues Fest
coincidentally.
and like
Yeah.
they showed up.
That was really cool.
Yeah, it was sick.
and
It
like
was lots of fun.
all
Really
the
fun
support,
time.
all the support that they were giving like us artists was really cool.
Yeah.
It was cool being on kind of the, I guess the other end of it, you know, like seeing how the
Festivals work.
Yeah, the back end kind of works. So
That was Aaron's first festival, wasn't it?
It
it
was.
was my first festival.
Like even...
But just attending.
Wow.
It was funny because like I've always had this kind of like I'd never been to a festival before, and then I think I started playing in bands and stuff, and I was probably about a year or two ago. I was like, it'd be pretty cool if like the first festival I went to was one that I played at,
Yeah.
and then that actually happened
It
to
happened.
turn out.
See, making
So I'm like,
dreams come true.
Yeah, and
Sick.
manifested that.
yeah.
He's been in my
Yeah.
ear. He wants to play with one of my friends, Felicity. He wants to like play drums in her band because we did the Gimpy Muster Festival.
Oh,
And that's Aaron's
I just wanna play that country music
dream
scene, you know?
environment.
yeah.
Dude. See his little loafers, dude, with those and some like double denim. That'd be crazy.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
But yeah, it was really fun. Blues Fest was great.
Yeah.
It's
so-
funny. Like Harley didn't tell us that he entered.
No.
He
I think I briefly
he literally
mentioned it.
like probably 2 weeks before the gig was like, oh hey, we're playing the Blues Fest busking comp. Like, we got through the semi-final. I'm like, oh
For real?
cool.
Yeah, dude. It
Yeah.
was
You're
so
free.
funny. And I think like Blues Fest might have been like our 10th gig. It's crazy, dude.
It worked out well.
Yeah, it was sick.
Can't
It's a
complain.
good way to start things off.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. It was lots of fun.
So what did the application process for that like look like in depth?
Just like your names of all the band members, what they do, a rough like stage plan, stage plot, whatever. Like a bio, links to everything. So we had some lot long ago. We did some cool live videos in the studio, which we use for like EPKs sort of stuff. So I entered them, and then they just contacted us and they're like, "You're in."
So a bit of a portfolio.
Yeah, basically.
And then there was some panel somewhere that
Yeah.
just went through them all.
Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of... So, and then was it like a audience voted sort of competition thing?
I think it was judges only.
Yeah, judges only for when you did the application. I think there was over 200 applicants or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then there was 8, I think, adult semi-finalists, and then down to 4, I think, and then I think there was like 2 or 3 judges.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you've done well then.
Yeah.
To
Don't
land
give him
that.
any more praise.
No, well,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that's a
bare
good
minimum.
indication of the quality of what you're doing.
It
Yeah.
is good.
And like that experience, I know we kind of just discussed it, but it does, like being in a festival and that kind of thing, does differ quite a bit from your normal Friday night in the Valley gig. What kind of highlights or things do you think would be worth sharing with people who might want to do that sort of experience at some point in the future that might be worth knowing going into that?
I think first of all you have to be in it to win it. Like, I know whenever I put my name in a competition or whatever, I feel like I'm never going to win it, and then we actually got through. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then I think one of the biggest things is just like the community of when you're there, like making connections and making friends as much as you can
Yeah.
Yeah.
to hopefully come back next year and, continue this cool journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like when you play a festival, you also get to like go to the festival.
Yeah.
You know, like a regular gig, you play it, and it's like, if it's like a, I don't know, 2 or 3 band gig, it's like once the gig's over, gig's over. But the sick thing about a festival is like once the gig's over, it's like the festival's still going. Like you stay there, it goes all night or whatever.
That's cool.
And so it feels a lot more like you're just part of something much bigger, and that's where like you meet all the other people, and like, I don't know, there's not just, especially like Blues Fest, like there's not just musicians, there's like artists, and there's like store vendors and everything. It's sick. It's such a cool place to be.
And I guess, Aaron, it's kind of a unique perspective for you as a drummer in terms of playing a festival. Did you still have to bring your own like drums and gear, or was it they had that stuff there already and everyone shared? Or
So it was kind of like a standard gig in Brisbane where they had all their, like all the back lines. So they had like a kit and all the hardware and all that. So I just had to bring cymbals, snare, and that was pretty much it.
The band, one of the bands that played before us was like, I think they were in the younger, because there was like the adult, there's like the adult busking competition, and then there was like the under 18s busking competition. And I don't think they won, but like they were like us, like they got to the finals or something, and so they got to play the busking stage, and they played before us, and the drummer from that band lives in Byron, but they forgot their cymbals. And it was like, they got to the gig and they like had like 5 or 10 minutes or whatever to like set up. It's like, oh, I forgot my cymbals. And like the whole thing is like, you got to bring your cymbals.
Yeah.
And so they ended up borrowing Jack Johnson's cymbals to play that gig. Yeah.
I did not know this.
The
Jack
organizer
Johnson.
lady was telling us, me, Ben and Tom, when we first got there, we're like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, good on him, right?
Yeah.
It's gold.
Must be a
Should have
nice
got a photo
dude.
with him.
Yeah, man.
Great.
That's
I'll
cool.
forget my cymbals more often.
Yeah, you might make some good connections that way.
Yeah, dude.
I think the coolest part for me was just freaking having people take our gear from the car to the stage. And that was like the gig was cool, like meeting everyone was sick and all the connections, but if I'm kind of like having actual people move your gear,
Yeah.
like if that's what it means to be a successful musician, sign me
Yeah.
up.
It's so
like I will work as hard as I can so that people can do that for me. That's great.
It's so funny because like at a festival, because there's sort of like a scaling at a festival of like smaller bands that sort of, it's their first festival, and then there's like Jack Johnson or something, but like the staff just treat everyone the same. So it was really funny, like them treating us like we're like fully legit. Like they're like, got any like big gigs coming up? And we're like, yeah.
We are
Just do it
fully
to the gig in
legit,
Brisbane. Yeah. And then like, but yeah, like they're like, do you want to do like carpool karaoke on the way back? We'll put it in a video. And it's like, no one is like watching this video. Like us. Yeah, I'm not a Harley Meszaros band hater by any means, but it's just like funny them treating us like, yeah, like we're full on.
Very small fish
No,
in a very big pool.
Yeah, it's true.
That's fun though.
Yeah, it's very sick.
Do you have to give them like a tech rider or anything?
Like we didn't get any like riders in terms of like drinks or anything. I think there was like snacks on the table, but we just had to tell them like where we're standing on stage and what we have to plug in basically, and that's about it. And just show up.
That's
and
cool.
play.
Alrighty. And have you done any sort of? You said like Max is on your back to do all these competitions and everything. Have you been successful with anything else,
Not
or at least applied to anything that's worth
like
mentioning?
we've applied for Big Sound.
Big Sound is tough.
There was
Big Sound is
Cube
tough.
Effect as well. I don't think we didn't get through to that one, unfortunately, but
We've been in
Yeah.
it before though.
we have been in before.
Oh
Yeah.
really?
I think 2
2 years
years
ago?
ago. Yeah,
Ah.
I think we got through to the finals in that. Which
We
was
got
cool.
to play the big gig or whatever. That was dope.
Mm.
It was fun. Did like a little music video. That's the one. Dude, the Cube Effect thing, they did like music videos for must have been like 20 or 30 bands.
Mm.
And all of the rest of the bands still have their videos up on like the Queensland or Brisbane Council like YouTube page, except for us. How's it
Why?
just gone?
For some reason, I don't know, it just got taken down.
It just
for
got
whatever
scrubbed.
reason.
That's so
like
strange.
we had a video done for our third single that we've released, What Do I Know,
Yeah.
and it's just not there anymore. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Harley was when he was
Didn't know
putting
what
his
that
EPK together. He was like, "It's okay, we got that video." And he's like, "Oh, I guess we don't."
They didn't give
They
you
just-
like
they
a.
just didn't
a
tell
copy?
me.
dude.
No,
we could
it was
probably
just posted to their YouTube channel.
we could probably reverse engineer, like find who did it and then figure out what happened to it. But
Yeah.
it's not on the internet as far as we know.
If there's any,
If anyone-
if there's demand for it, we can try.
If anyone knows where that video is, please send it to Harley.
That's so weird. I wonder why they took it down. It's a mystery.
Yeah, dude. That's Harley's whole thing. He's mysterious.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's on brand.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really cool. We got to play that, and we played like, what is the gig like out in like, was it in like New Farm or like Newstead or something? Is that
Something
near
like
the
that.
Water. It was so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, is it outdoors?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's
was.
cool.
That was kind of like almost a mini festival vibe.
Mm.
Like they had like a mini stage, and
Mm.
there was like every act played that day, right? There's
think so.
heaps. Yeah, it was cool. It
Yeah.
was lots of fun.
I guess that must have been pretty early then in like your band.
Fairly early, yeah.
Fairly?
Yeah, I think we've been a band for coming up 4 years now.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's been a while.
We
eh?
started.
And you
yeah.
played what 10 gigs together?
Oh, we've played more than 10 gigs.
I'm telling
I'd
you,
say
dude.
10 gigs this year, maybe.
No, 10
No.
gigs this year,
Maybe?
dude.
That's
You are-
crazy, dude.
To Harley Meszaros. You are just
It's
wrong,
only
brother.
April.
What are you talking about? Do you think we've done 10 gigs this year? I think maybe we've done 10 gigs that like biannually, like if you add up last year and this year.
Well, Tom and I, the bass player, we've only been in this band since the start of probably the last year, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but
Well,
like, we've played quite a few gigs, but yeah. So it's like it's kind of this weird thing where it's like we're not trying to rebrand, but trying to, I guess, when you have a personnel change, I guess it's a bit of restructuring in
Yeah.
terms of all
Yeah.
that, you know, like your identity kind of changes a little bit and trying to find that again, I suppose. So it's like it's been a bit of a process going through that, but it's been good.
yeah, it's been cool. Because
Fair enough.
It feels like we've been cooking for a while, like just trying to put all the puzzle pieces together perfectly so that when we do release stuff and like announce lots of cool things that we've been planning, it like succeeds and does really well. So it just feels like we've been doing that for a while, which is
Yeah.
why we haven't been doing like a lot of gigs and all that, but we're starting to pick it back up and kick things into gear now, which is really cool.
yeah,
That's exciting.
yeah, I think it's like quality, not quantity,
Yeah.
for Harley's stuff.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we've been playing gigs since probably like early 2022,
Mm.
early 2020, and then like, but we've only been playing like gigs
Mm.
for the past year or so. Because everything else was like, you'd basically only really book a gig for like a single launch,
Mm.
was the idea. And then like we've only had 3 singles out.
Mm.
So we probably did like a total of maybe 6 or 7 gigs in that first 3 years.
Mm.
And that's not like, that's
Not
not,
a lot.
No.
that's not hyperbole or anything. And then like this year we have been doing more, which has been really fun.
Mm.
It's been cool.
It's a cool project. It's a cool band.
Oh, mate.
It's the nicest thing he's ever said to me.
Dude, put him in front of me.
Only because we're on camera.
I guess on the topic of like your music and your singles, you do have like 3 available to stream. That came out 2021, 2022. Even though you don't have like a massive following, those singles are all doing pretty good numbers. Do you have any kind of approach to promoting them that helps you to keep some momentum up with people streaming? Or
I think that's one of the things that we've kind of been working on and planning a bit, and like some things that I've learned through other bands that I've been in, like one of my last bands, Dusty, was doing quite well, like played on Triple J and all that. A lot of it was from Jade Montgomery, who was our manager at the time, and she's amazing. She's in Worm Girls now, and they're doing really good. So just picking up lots of things from her, like I want to do like PR properly this time, and like try and do podcasts like this, and like talk on radio as much as we can, and get as many different outlets as we can to promote the music, rather than just posting about it on social media and then having a gig, which is like where I feel like the downfall of the last 3 songs were. Like they still did really well. I'm still happy with them, but I feel like we can do a lot better now that we've kind of learnt.
Yeah, I think it's like promo costs more money than probably anything else that like we spend money on. Like merch and singles or whatever, you add them up, you add like a whole new recording, mixing, and mastering of single, and then a whole new run and design of merch. That's still less than like promo for 1 single, which is crazy.
It's just like learning how to run a successful business.
That
you like weren't really aware it was a business when you started, and you're like, oh, okay, now I need to actually do stuff properly.
Harley stands on business, dude. I think like, because there are bands that like they don't need to pay that much for promo because they've just got a really, really like loyal, active fan base, you know, and that's like bands who like really nail social media can like get away with it, you know, and like that's sick. I think we would all like to be that band, but like if you can't do that, it's just you got to like put yourself in front of as many people as possible. And that's probably like you doing like all your solo sort of like acoustic cover gigs and stuff. That's probably like where you get a lot of new listeners as well. Because people just like Harley and they'll be like, oh, your voice is amazing. Like, do you have any music out? And Harley's like, yes.
Check me out.
Let's go.
Now, social media is hard.
Yeah, man.
It's hard to crack. It's hard to keep. It takes a lot of energy to keep doing, and to even figure out what people want to see from you.
Yeah.
And I feel like these days, more and more, you kind of need some degree of a parasocial relationship in order to really get yourself well established and have a lot of returning like interest in what you're doing. Which is kind of crazy.
You got to start calling all of our fans, Harley. They're not just our fans, they're our friends.
Yeah.
That's not an exaggeration.
Most of our fans are just our friends.
And that's fine.
Wouldn't it be untrue?
I think a lot of it's just getting used to like how much of like a like constant job it is on social media. And like for me, like previously being much more introverted to trying to break out of my shell a bit more.
Yeah.
Like these guys are always pushing me.
Yeah.
So,
Harley's grown a lot, I think, the past 18 months in terms of his drive to do things, which has been really good, but it was a bit it was a bit painful at the beginning. I think we can all kind of talk candidly about that. But I think it's hard. Like, I think it's hard for a lot of creatives that want to push their art into the world. They don't realize that you're running a business, right? You're running a brand in a business, and it's like you don't really expect that, and I think that's quite a shock to a lot of people.
Yeah, and most of the time, like, you're also working as well at the same time, which is like trying to start an entirely new business while also being part of another business that like has requirements from you, or like I mean, Harley, like, he teaches, and so he runs that as his own business as well, whilst running the band as his own business, and it's like it's a lot to take on, and so it's pretty tough. But like, I think that's why surrounding yourself with like good people and like making friends with other bands in the community is so good, because it's really like those other bands and those other creatives are like the only people who really understand
Like, they get
exactly what you're going through, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, it's not like you wouldn't understand, but it's like they really, really, really get it, you know, and they can empathize with it because they've been in exactly the same spot.
So, at the moment, your current number one song on Spotify is Those Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Great song, by the way.
Thank you.
Actually, it is like a really cool kind of mix of instrumentation that's going on in there. You've kind of got like these really indie, grungy guitars, and then there's like an 80s sort of synth thing happening, and then there's like a saxophone. Is that a saxophone?
Yeah.
Yeah. And big, like, super roomy vocals as well. It's very cool. What kind of influences were you drawing from in making that? Was that the vision or the idea you had for the song going into producing, or?
It's interesting to talk about because Those Eyes is probably our most different song of the three, and I think it was very heavily inspired by like the indie rock, like Holy Holy kind of almost pop rock kind of vibes that I was really into at the time.
It reminds me a lot of like City Come Down and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's interesting because we don't really play it anymore because it's a bit different to where we're kind of the direction that we're going now. But it's cool that it's doing quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is quite different from the other two singles. In terms of all three of them, what was your production process like? Did you collaborate with a producer on making those?
So we went with Hugh Middleton back in the day, and we recorded all three songs at the same time to kind of be prepared for to do a relatively quick release one after the other, and it ended up kind of spreading it out a bit more.
We recorded at like his house.
Yeah.
It was like I think it's called like In With The Out or something.
Out with the In
Out With the In,
Studios.
yeah.
He like had previously done like Hope D's stuff. Like I think it was the first EP and all that.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a really cool little spot. And, like
Yeah.
had like a separate little room for drums and stuff. It was like built into like a shed in like his backyard. It was really interesting. And like
Cool.
I think what we did like 3 sessions. We did like drum and bass and like guitars, and then we did like more guitars and synth. And then you had like vocal day and also horns, right?
Yeah, except we
Yeah.
got the horns were done. Like I hired a guy and then he like recorded them at home and then he sent them in. So
Oh,
I had to
true,
like write
true.
out all the parts like
Right.
on notation, which I'm not a fan
Dude.
of.
That would have been cooked.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So you like just got some freelance like session.
Yeah,
music,
because
or-
like lots of the covers gigs that I do, half of them are like weddings or functions and stuff where I play with random people that play saxophone or like drums or whatever. So a random band gets put together.
Yeah.
So this is like one of those saxophone players that I met,
Right.
or trumpet players, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. And how expensive was it?
For like the whole thing, or
Yeah.
I think we would have done a deal at the time, maybe like $2,000 or $2,500. I can't
For
quite
three?
remember.
Three
For
songs.
3 songs,
And
yeah.
was that mixed and mastered?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad actually. How'd you get a deal?
I think because we'd like recorded with him previously, and
Right.
Max and I are also in another band, Jane Street,
Yeah.
and we recorded with him before.
Because Hugh Middleton, he used to go here.
Yeah,
He was studying at SE.
Oh.
It's actually
and-
like it's just like not too far from here. Actually.
Yeah, and that's where like Kaylin from Jane Street met Hugh, because Kaylin and Hugh were studying at like the same time, I think. And so yeah, that's where all that came from. And we just sort of, by then we were sort of like soft mates with Hugh because we'd done it a few times. But yeah, and then like who else was it? Like Alex Lestrange, Pip or something mastered it. Was it Pip?
I think it would have been Matt Gray mastered it. I can't
You sure?
remember.
I seem to remember Hugh masters with Alex.
You're really testing my memory.
Anyway, it's either Matt Gray or it's Alex, and they can fight it out for credit. It's
It's probably on the track somewhere.
Ah, you'd hope so. Right?
Yeah.
It's probably there.
Yeah. It was fun. That was really cool sessions.
Mm.
It was like really, because we've done recording at like studios now that are like more of like your traditional sort of studio setup, and like recording at someone's like home studio, it's like a whole different vibe.
Mm.
It was really nice.
It was a really vibey place. There was like disco balls and everything.
Because who have
Oh,
you
that's cool.
recorded
It's a
with
good time.
now in like different projects? You've recorded with Jono at Hunting Ground,
Mm-hmm.
you at the out
Hugh
with
at-
Ian. Brock.
Also, Brock Weston with like his home studio
Yeah.
for all the Dusty stuff, and
Nice
then
place.
Avangi we did with
That was
Cody
yeah.
McWaters at Hunting Ground as well.
My God.
So yeah, kind of
You've been around, bro.
One of my old bands did a thing up in, I think it was
Was that Blind Pilots?
Blind Pilots.
Yeah, dude.
I can't remember what the studio was called, but like we won a band competition or whatever.
Yeah. That was the Battle of the Bands thing in the
Yeah.
Valley. Was that the Valley Crawl one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I was
Yeah.
there for that gig
Yeah.
actually.
That's where it
At the-
started.
I remember standing in Press Club, or is it the Press Club or the Bowery, with you guys on the giant check. It's like, let's go.
You got a giant check.
Yeah, dude.
It was like for like $4,000 because we won $1,000.
Yeah.
It was just a giant check.
That
Like,
is
this
so
is the most
big.
amazing thing I've ever had.
That was when me and Harley were first like. I didn't even know who Harley was. It was like in the couple trimesters above me in like JMC. And I just remember being like, Blind Pilots is a cool band. And then I went to that gig. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, he's got $1,000.
They
I'll
won.
start hanging out with him.
Yeah, man. Because I knew Drew pretty well,
Mm.
and
He
I
was
didn't
the
really
drummer.
know Lockie very well, but I knew you were from Harvey Bay because someone had mentioned it. I was like, it can't be that bad.
Somehow Harvey Bay people just have a way of finding each other.
Magnetized to each other, man.
Yeah.
Everyone in Jane Street is from
Interesting.
Harvey Bay except
Yeah.
our drummer. It's cooked.
Mm.
And
That's that's kind of like, have you heard when people go overseas, like as an Australian, if you go overseas, you'll find other Australians. no
I
matter where you
believe it.
go?
Yeah.
Same kind of concept. Happened to me in Beijing.
Yeah. True.
Fair enough.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Random.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Stuff happens in Beijing, bro. That's how it goes. That's sick.
Back 2021, when you were in the studio working on your 3 current singles that are available to stream, did you go into that process with a really clear idea of what you wanted the end product to sound like? Or was it a case of like creating through that process?
I think it was like a mix of both. Obviously, we had the song arranged like how we would play it live at gigs and stuff, and so that was kind of like what we tracked first. Got down like bass drums for everything, and then like guitars for everything or whatever, and then you just start sprinkling stuff on top. And each song I kind of had an idea and like a purpose and like of sounds that I wanted to choose and use. Like Those Eyes is much more like pop synthy kind of stuff, and then What Do I Know is like there's lots of like phases and flanges and stuff to make it sound a bit more Pink Floydy at the end, because that was a big inspiration for that song. So yeah, there was like ideas and aspects that I wanted to, that I had set as goals for the recording process, but then a lot of it was also like just improvising and making stuff up.
Yeah.
While you're there, it's like, oh, that's cool, let's do that.
Yeah. Do you find that when you're in that environment, like, and it's quite creative, like, these things just kind of happen in the process?
Yeah, like just recording music in a studio is such like a creative
Yeah.
space,
Yeah.
and it's often when you do make like a little mistake or you do something that you don't normally do live and you try something new, and then you take a week to listen back over it, and you're like, oh no, that's actually my favorite thing now.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Sick.
I guess, like, for you guys, is it kind of similar? Like, do you go into a session, Aaron, with a good idea of how you're expecting drums to sound, or
Not this latest.
do you get
session
much?
again.
Do you get much direction?
I think it's kind of similar to what Harley said. It's however it's usually been worked out live, and how it's been gigged for however long we've been playing it, is usually what I'll walk into the studio with. But we, even with like some of the Neighbours stuff, we've had the producer come just to like rehearsal beforehand, just to take
Yeah.
notes and kind of just to let him cook on what some ideas they could have. And when we get into the studio, it's like there's probably been a few tracks now that I've done drums for, where what I walk in with isn't what comes out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, probably our next single that's going to come out is probably a pretty good example of that, actually, because that was a very quick song that we kind of wrote and pumped out. Like, I think, I think we kind of got caught up and we're like, all right, let's record a song, but then hadn't really written a song yet.
Right.
So it was like, I remember for the drum parts, I think we had like a rehearsal the day before we were in the studio, and that was like essentially kind of the first time that I heard the track. And I remember trying to write these parts on Max's shitty little electric drum kit. Awful. And then we rocked up into the studio and I was kind of like, I got no idea what's going on.
Yeah, dude.
Like, so that was
But we got there.
yeah, we got there.
Thank God John is a drummer, bro. John was like, just do this. And yeah, it sounds good.
I'm kind of interested, like, if we take a step back again from recording to writing in that process, is that something you do alone, or do you guys have input on the songwriting process, or is it different from song to song? Like, where's the starting point?
That's kind of something that's still growing as we progress as a band. I feel like most of the time it's me. Like, I'll have essentially the bones for a song, or like a song basically done, and then I'll bring it to the band in rehearsal, and then we kind of work through it all together, and everyone puts their own little parts in, which is like, I feel like I can make as good a song as I can, but then it really helps having such amazing players in the band, because then they can tell me what should be better and like where they think we should go with the song, I guess. I don't know.
We're actually really fortunate because Max and Tom are kind of like the theory goats.
Yeah.
So it's like they're, Harley will bring like an idea, and then Max and Tom will get their fingers on it and kind of arrange it in a really cool way. So it's good now because we haven't actually written, other than our next single, Give Me Something, we haven't really written too much together. So it's good to kind of, we had a songwriting session a couple of days ago, which was like, it was really good, you know, kind of start that path down that road, you know, kind of doing some different stuff.
And I think for Give Me Something, it was like Harley wrote, because you collaborated with Kaylin on that as well. Like,
Kaylin,
I've seen the
James
like fucking Harley sent like 6 drafts back and forth. Or like he'd send Kaylin something, Kaylin be like, I think this would be cool, and then like Harley'd be like, all right, and then keep like bits and pieces. But then like you had like the core song, and then you were just, I don't think you were like stoked on the arrangement. You were like, something needs to happen just to keep it interesting, whatever. Because it's a pretty like, when a song like form or structure is like pretty conventional, it's like you want to do stuff to break that up and like keep things interesting. And so that's like, I think me and you then went on to like work out like rhythmic arrangements and stuff, and like put some stops in there and did all that sort of stuff. Summoned a drill.
That is but all.
It was kind of interesting creating that song, because I think the first time we actually, like, we rehearsed it and like arranged it, everything as much as we could before we recorded it, because we were kind of rushing to record it. The first time we heard all the like instruments together was on the recording, which was kind of a cool thing, because I'd never done that before. I never like birthed a song in a studio, so that was kind of fun. But it was also something that we've kind of learnt to maybe don't do that next time. Let's plan it out a bit longer.
Don't do that. It makes the whole production process so much harder.
It makes production, like, it makes post-production way harder, because it's like, it's not,
the idea is very romantic, but pragmatically not so much.
If you've got a solid idea like in pre-production, and then you like capture the arrangement, post-production is usually just making everything sit properly. But our thing was like, we had to do sessions after and like do a bunch of mixes, because we had to like not only make things sit in like a good frequency space, but also like write new parts, because the parts that we had weren't working.
We were still kind of like growing the song, like.
Actually, we shouldn't be telling this. We knew what we were doing the whole fucking time. And the song's fucking really good, bro, so you should listen to it.
So is it the only one song you guys are currently working on, or what's the...
So depending on when this is released, we have this one single coming out in the coming months, I'll say, for now, called Give Me Something. And yeah, it's very exciting. It's almost, well, it's kind of a rebrand for the band, I guess, because it's been a while since we released something. So at the moment, we've got things lined up to kind of announce along the way to that being released. And
Yeah. Got like a single launch and kind
yeah,
of stuff that'll come with it.
yeah,
Some type of launch
some type
coming
of launch
up.
coming.
So
Whoa.
everybody should go and follow your social media.
Yes, they should do
Let's
that.
go. Road to
Amen.
1,000.
Yeah.
If we have
That way.
1,000 followers by
Dude,
the
we're
time
so-
this is
We're
out,
so close.
fuck, dude. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how different everything's going to be? At 1,000.
Could be at micro influencer level.
I know. It's going to be
Joke's
good.
crazy.
We get sponsored.
Well, where can everyone follow you?
TikTok and Instagram is at Harley Meszaros, HarleyMezaros.
Harley can't even spell it.
I've done that before,
Yeah.
like when I was on radio in Harvey Bay as a kid. I did the
Yeah.
exact same thing. I was like, God, how do I spell my name?
It's good to know you haven't changed.
Yeah.
Keep going. Where's TikTok,
Um,
Fame
Instagram?
hasn't gotten to you yet.
TikTok, Instagram. We have a YouTube account that sometimes I post stuff to. I don't know.
Fucking
Doesn't have
news to
that
me,
either.
bro.
Used to Max and myself.
We have a website,
we're
harleymezaros.com. Yeah. We
Let's
got all
go.
the things, man.
Well, because they're just a little leak. There's probably a rebrand that's going to come. So it
Yeah.
probably won't be Harley Meszaros.
Yeah,
Probably some variation of just Harley band, music, Australia,
Alright.
worldwide,
Yeah, yeah.
or something.
Mr. Worldwide.
But
Well-
failing that, just look up Harley Meszaros.
Yeah.
You'll find them.
And if things change, we'll just link accordingly.
The audio will bleep out. You cannot find us here.
Alrighty. Well, I think we should hear some music.
Let's go.
What do you
Absolutely.
think? Bring,
Let's do it.
bring the band in.
Yep, bring the
Yeah.
boys in. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Hey, my name's Harley Meszaros. This is the first song that we released. This one's called Depths. All that I had done, I did not plan to. What we had is gone. I was too blind through this life we had, this life we knew now. It's tearing me apart. I know you feel the same. That's why I have to leave now. I'll go. What we had was grand, but know that I will change. And I'm scared I'll fuck it up now. This time that I will take is all I can do. The air is lost its taste. I will not lead you to the dark.
Alright, this is our newest single. This is an acoustic version that we're doing for you. It's going to be coming out very soon. This one's called Give Me Something. 1, 2. Call me when it's over. I'm sick of being sober. These nights divide the time I spent here in the light. Tell me how to find you. There's no one here reminded to guide me. These open streets and big city lights. Call me down, no let me in. You drown me in your lies, no going back again. Fears won't let up, and these walls are thin. Now I'm shaking, baby, maybe let's not play pretend. Well, give me some.